Welcome, everyone, and thanks for joining the first episode of our podcast series, The Digital Maturity Blueprint. Today, we are going to talk about digital transformation and will uncover fundamental challenges associated with it. There is a lot in the blind spot no one is talking about, and everyone is so busy in keeping moving forward. Jazz and I will explore common digital journey pitfalls that businesses should address in their strategy. It will not only influence their business bottom line, but also enable for sustainable growth. Jazz, good we are talking about this today. How do you feel about this topic?
Hey, Nev, this is a great topic to start with as well by talking about the issues, just to begin with and what it means to be digital as well as being digitally transformed. So at your end, maybe you can start by sharing, what are you seeing as a problem today?
Yeah, I want to start with the most common problem almost all of the companies face, that is poor visibility of the tech stack. Whoever I talk, like all of us, tend to keep adding more tools and services every now and then for business use cases, and that's only contributing to make it larger and complex over time. Do we know our contribution at scale, and what are we causing by not doing it right? Our lack of diligent thinking influences environment, budget, operations, and customer experience. Talking about environment, according to Morgan Stanley's report, the global data center industry is projected to emit approximately 2.5 billion metric tons of carbon dioxide by 2030. It's huge. For financial imbalance, a survey revealed that 69% of organizations reported that low utilization of their entire tech stack adversely affected their budgets. Another study reveals that companies utilize only 58% of their MarTech capabilities. There is already a lot of money drained here. For operational efficiency, companies say 67% of their marketing department's organization credibility is used only. So there is a lot of wastage there. For customer experience, complex data collection and poor data management processes can frustrate customers. And this can lead to 67% abandonment and 66% likely to switch vendors if their communication expectations are unable to meet. There are already a lot of problems on this journey.
Sounds good. I kind of agree. I like your take, especially on the environmental impact, which to me is the white elephant in the room that many of smaller countries, especially in Asia, at my end, looking to scale their advancements of using AI, they will struggle with that. What I'm seeing at my end are basically to the following viewpoint. So firstly, I see a revolving door dilemma where I look at the chief digital and the data officers. They are somewhat seasonal in nature. A lot of them don't last, maybe if they can last like more than 3 years, they're considered as maybe good or lucky. They're given a very brief, time in the spotlight before they are being booted out for not hitting really impossible ROI targets that are very often tagged directly to sales performance. And then they tend to act in silos as well. And having this silo and then a very disruptive change of ownership during the time that they transition out into the next CDO, that leads to a lot of the abandoned tools. It leads to abandoned tech stack and also, of course, a drastic loss of knowledge. Then for point two, which is actually a spillover effect from point one, it is the having too many kind of a syndrome where, if you imagine that our entire digital infrastructure is like a potluck where everybody tries to bring something to the table, but without coordinating on what it is, that they are bringing. So then when people start bringing their own solution to the table, they create a potluck of disconnected tools instead of ensuring they have the right process to enable and support adoption, as well as the integration of those tools, how those tools work together. Before we know it, we are running like a huge digital buffet where nothing actually goes together and the customers are basically getting the short end of the stick, And then my last point is actually on the silos. So that's also the very typical digital transformation scenario. The data offices don't necessarily have all of the data access. That usually sometimes sits with IT. And then IT makes decisions on tools to use, including MarTech tools, without understanding what marketing does and why it's important and what functions they need. And then everybody ends up playing and singing a different tune. So then at the end of the day, I think my question is, should the CEO step in as the master architect, or do we need like the COO to do that?
Very well said. That's right. There are a lot of holes in the hierarchy and coordination. Yeah, digital maturity is not only a tech team's responsibility, it certainly needs a technology ecosystem, but that's a matter of top to bottom alignment for sure. Yeah, top leaders drive vision and strategy. They set goals, break siloed efforts, and keep the organization working together for a common goal. And that's huge part. I mean, if it is coming from the top, then company follows as a protocol. This vertical alignment also helps prioritize investment in technology, people, and processes, and implement the most critical programs that are aligned to the company's vision. Like different teams, they initiate different programs all the time, but like what are really worth and beneficial for the organization? It is only like someone who can verify from the top makes sense, assign budget and everything. Like lastly, this also helps involving all the right people at the right time. With this coordination, we can help speed up the decision making about budget, about people, about hiring, about programs, about strategic changes. Teams can quickly respond to market changes and adopt new technologies effectively. Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, just to add to that, I mean, ultimately, I think digital transformation often is not failing because of the technology. You know, it's struggling because we're treating it like a series of solar performance instead of, you know, what we want to put together with a combination of art and science, you know, and also being digitally ready and transformed doesn't mean, you know, just using Microsoft Copilot, you know, throughout the organization or just using ChatGPT rampantly across the organization. You know, the end goal is not to make sure you are actually using so and so digital tool or AI tool, but just to go back to the basics of what we are trying to solve for and what we're trying to achieve, you know. So I think at my end, I actually have a few critical questions that I think companies should ask before they embark into any journey, including digital journey. For example, what is the specific business problem that you're trying to solve for? You know, I think this is very fundamental, very important to start with. And then also, how will this transformation directly impact on your bottom line, be your customer experience, all the way to giving you a competitive advantage? And also, do you actually have a clear view in the first place of your current corporate technical debt, as well as your data architecture, your tech stack, you know, and also is your leadership team genuinely committed to the goals, the same goals, or are they just purely following blindly because you say so? And also, who owns the transformation roadmap? I think ownership is always a big issue in all the organizations that I've worked with. Now, do they actually have the right authority and accountability as well to drive the needed change, right down to the teams, right down to the mid-level, all the way to, you know, lower level management? And also, have we actually mapped out the skill gap in your organization? Actually, this is one of the biggest problems as well. Are you enabling your people to move along with you in the digital journey? And also some of the other questions are around your data and infrastructure, change management, and as well as the people culture and resource and implementation readiness in general.
Great question. Absolutely. I will definitely make sure that I have my own environment assessed against these questions. I want to add few more. Yeah, definitely. And like from technical aspect, like I think I want to add few more questions for our go-to-market leaders listening to this. When was the last time you assessed the efficiency of your tech stack? As I said in the beginning, also like we have a mindset of keep moving forward, right? But we never take time to go back and check what we have done in the past, if there is what's anything to change, to keep, or to like align, realign, right? What is your and second question I want to ask, what is your decision making checklist before onboarding a new tool to your tech stack, right? So what I have seen is like people have their preferred vendors wherever they go, they take vendors along, and that's how like tech stack keeps growing from different teams, regardless of any assessment done before, right? There may be services sitting already on the tech stack, but you don't know. And you just add a similar one more and then adds on to overall impacts, environment, budget, efficiency, customer experience. It goes everywhere. Lastly, can you measure your absolute efficiency of your tech stack? That's a very tough question. Like of all of these services and tools in the stack are orchestrating correctly and they are all optimized and fully functional. We, I mean, like I mentioned before, also like companies utilize only 58% of their tech stack capabilities. I mean, it's just half of the total stack, indicating underutilization of resources. And 69% of organizations reported this low utilization adversely affected their budgets. Definitely, why not? Like if it is underutilized budgets sitting there in the stack itself, and we are adding more. That's funny and also like very serious problem. Companies should look at. I think we are missing basics here. One more fun factor about digital transformation is it drives innovation. Well, really, keep adding more tools does not really mean digital. As you also stated before, as using Copilot and ChatGPT don't really make companies AI enabled. It's like how to use it that matters more. How to take a value of this technology to add business impact, right? What I have seen from the digital world, I have learned in my experience, I really think digitization should truly be around these five pillars: leadership and strategy, technology and infrastructure, data and analytics, customer experience, customer focused, talent and culture. But among all five, I want to emphasize here the technology and infrastructure part because that's impacting the world. Since this directly leaves the environmental impact. I mentioned earlier also, the global data center industry is projected to emit about 2.5 billion metric tons of carbon dioxide by 2030. Right? It is better we start working against it now.
Yeah, I mean, from what I've read at my end, the environmental impact is real. Like data centers already consume 1 to 2% of the global electricity, and having Gen AI workloads can actually multiply this footprint significantly. In fact, training a single large language model can generate carbon emissions equivalent to 5 cars' lifetime emissions itself. But these, aren't sexy to talk about actually in the digital transformation journey, so we don't hear about it as much. And I think it makes sense for companies to be more focused on where they would like to apply some digital innovation to improve their business, looking at longer term benefits, not just for their bottom line, not just for some PR media effort, but also for the greater community, for their customers, for their employees.
Yeah, we know all this. Now we talked about problems, we talked about solutions, but how do we fix this? It's time to rethink our digital transformation approach. How about starting with 3 essential principles? Simplify your stack by taking inventory of your tools and optimize and prioritize the services that truly add value. As like we are only using about half of the total tech stack. Let's get rid of all those, save money, save environment. And then secondly, measure impact by evaluating the financial, environmental, and operational ROI of your tools regularly. We don't do that. Most of companies are not doing it. They just like keep adding services, use it, hit on their business goals, campaign metrics, and then keep moving forward. So this is important to assess the health check of the tech stack. And thirdly, invest in training your staff. Training is important. Like we should have our staff capable to use that technology. ChatGPT, Copilot, like these are beautiful tools. It can do a lot, but most of people don't even know it. They're just seized as another search tool with like brief text message coming out as a result. Like it is much more than that. And optimize integrations to ensure our tools work seamlessly together. Orchestration of our services is important to get the true value of the tech stack. Yeah, transformation is not about having the most, but it's about doing the most with what you have.
Yeah, I totally agree on that. It is critical to take stock, firstly with an audit and review of where you are in your digital journey or your transformation journey for that matter. And start planning for a roadmap. already. If you don't have one yet, it's never too late to start. But the later you start, the harder it is. And then make sure that you have like a checklist for evaluation based on what are your key objectives, what are your priorities to access the tools you already have versus those that you are considering even before you start to have like buying decision made. And then look at all your enablement, integration, adoption, and measurement. Make sure that they are all there as part of your checklist because these are all critical steps to help you make that decision moving forward.
True. Absolutely. Transformation is a journey, not a destination. Well said. The goal is not to simply check the digital box, but to evolve in a way that's sustainable, efficient, and aligned with your mission. Yeah, make sure you understand organization goals and align those to programs holistically. Look inside your tech stack before start adding more tools. Orchestrate your tech stack services to improve collaboration, reduce wastage, and increase productivity. Oof, wow, that's quite a discussion, Jazz. With this, I want to thank you for this great discussion. Your insights are very useful. I hope this definitely helps our listener improve their digital ecosystem to be more sustainable and scalable.
Yeah, thanks, Nev, for sharing your insights as well. I learned something as well from you today. So I'm sure that it will benefit our listeners. So looking forward to the next one.
Thank you.